Hey guys, Legendaray here, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Now today, we have Aaron back on the channel with another insanely special Mortar Cycle video. That's because today, we're showcasing some replays that got him to 8,118 trophies in the game. At the time of recording, it was top 40 in the entire world. I'd probably go as far as to say he's one of the best Mortar Cycle players in this entire game. So this gameplay today is definitely going to be some of the best that you will ever see. Of course, huge thanks to Aaron for sharing these replays. I'll leave his YouTube channel and his Twitter down in the description, so be sure to go check him out and show him some support. Anyways, before we get into some matches, if you could please leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Also, if you'd like to support me, feel free to use code RAY in the Clash Royale shop. Any support would be greatly appreciated. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into some matches. Alrighty, so this first match here is going to be against Air Surfer, and he's going to be running a classic Mortar bait deck. This Mortar deck is a slightly more popular than Mortar Cycle, but obviously both are very, very good in this meta. So starting off, you can see Air Surfer goes in with a Mortar, and against Mortar mirror matches, mirroring the offensive Mortar placement is actually a very, very effective strategy. Obviously, you don't face Mortar too often in this meta, but when you do, just know that playing a Mortar right in the face of an offensive Mortar is definitely a play that you should consider doing. Anyways, here, cannon card, you can see gets kind of easily dealt with here. Just a nice and easy set of archers. We'll finish that cannon card off. Clean slate, both players only got like slight spell damage or minor damage on the tower. And now you can see here again, Aaron's gonna just try and not take any damage whatsoever. He got a little lucky with the Ice Spear placement, but you can see he even goes in with a Mortar just to prevent the Spear Goblins from getting damage on the tower. And here you can see, here's where like I would have done something different. I would have personally like played Skeletons or something to distract the Mortar, but instead Aaron just goes ahead, chills, he realizes that that Mortar is most likely not going to break through, and he's actually going to focus on trying to outcycle the Mortar instead. So here, as you can see, Air Surfer is going to go ahead and cycle some bats. Aaron goes in with some archers in the back, and this is some pretty standard stuff here, just, cycling some of your cycle cards, getting back to the Mortar, because against certain matchups, Mortar is going to be your main win condition, not spell cycling, which will be the win condition in others. And this is another really, really important play, especially against decks with cannon cards. When you're trying to get a Mortar lock, it's oftentimes very, very useful to not only predict the cannon card with a knight, but also to tornado that cannon card in. It's an extra 3 elixir, but it can oftentimes catch your opponent off guard, and you can see here, it gets him a good couple shots onto the crown towers. So now, again, even elixir, heading towards double elixir time. Both players are playing a little bit on the passive side, and Aaron goes in with a defensive Mortar, which gets immediately fireballed out. But now Aaron's going to go ahead and begin the rocket cycle. Spear Goblins go down, logs out the Spear Goblins. And then, of course, he catches the miner as well. Air Surfer does not want to actually risk getting his getting a king activation, so he always is going to play the miner in the safe spot, which makes it a little bit easier for Aaron to catch. So anyways, defensive Mortar comes down, archers down, and you can see a little bit of fireball bait action here. This is something that I really don't do, that he does so often. He plays the Mortar in a position that the fireball can hit both the tower and the Mortar, but he instead uses that as an element of fireball bait so that his archers can get as much value as possible. And you can see he does this throughout almost every single matchup that I'll share in this video. It's definitely something that I should probably learn from to improve my Mortar Cycle play. But anyways, 7 seconds left, heading towards overtime. Again, Miner gets caught in the safe position. And then I think he's just going to go in with a rocket onto the tower. He's not too worried about the offensive Mortar, because we just have so many cycle cards that the Mortar is just going to be constantly distracted. You can see here another Mortar comes down. And yeah, it's just a rinse and repeat. At this point, we're still slightly ahead in damage because a rocket is a lot quicker than a fireball. But anyways, here, as you can see, Air Surfer does get a quick lock, but a nice little sneaky Ice Spear there resets it. And then another miner catch there once again. Things are actually pretty close now, because his miner was able to get some chip damage. Mortar shot as well is going to tie things up, but we do have the rocket, which deals, like, what, 538 damage at max level or something like that. I might be wrong, but as you can see, the opponent's tower is so close to just pure spell range. So, of course, archers come down. He catches the miner one more time. with the knight there as well. And now all Aaron needs to do is cycle a couple more tiny spells onto the tower, and it will be cleanly within rocket range. So you can see log comes down here, NATO as well to clear out the bats, while also getting some damage. And now 607 HP, he cycles to his rocket here, and all he needs to do is just log, send in that rocket, and that's just a GG well played. So Mortar Bait, it can be a little bit of a difficult matchup, especially if the opponent knows what they're doing. But as you can see, by just constantly spell cycling and being very, very cautious about the opponent's mortars, you're not going to be letting a single lock onto your tower. Alrighty, next up we're going to be against Emix from the clan Noah, and this guy, he's going to be running Giant Graveyard, and Giant Graveyard, man, it is one of the most difficult matchups that you can imagine. Not only do they have arrows for your archers, but they also have a snowball for everything else, so you can just see how difficult this matchup will be. So starting off, Aaron goes in with a mortar, and then he immediately goes in with archers and a log to take down that musketeer. That might not have been something that I would have done, actually. But you can see it does give him one mortar shot onto the tower, and it also baits out the opponent's arrows, which is actually something that is going to really help him when defending this upcoming push, as you can see right now. So as the opponent reaches 10 elixir, he goes in with a giant in the back. Again, arrows are somewhat out of cycle. And then now Aaron goes in with a defensive mortar. He knows that the Giant Graveyard deck does not have a medium to big spell, so the mortar is going to be relatively safe. There's no really much of a worry that the mortar is going to get spelled down. And now you can see Aaron just goes in with arrows in the back. The opponent does get back to his arrows though. And the knight down followed up by an ice spirit as well is going to clear out the bats, log clears out the skeletons, and then now Aaron gets himself a king tower activation as well. What an initial defense you can see right there. Honestly, you could probably replay that defense there in slow motion. That's exactly how you want to defend a push like that. Absolutely insane. And with a king tower activation, this matchup is going to be a lot easier, but not over though. This matchup is still very, very difficult, even with an activated king's tower. So you can see here, the opponent cycles back to a giant, though Aaron goes in with a defensive mortar, kind of simple. Knight down, followed up by an ice spirit there. Gonna do not that great of a job actually, because the mini Pekka takes down the knight, but you can see here, skeletons and a mortar shot destroys the musketeer. NATO is gonna clear out the rest of the push, and another very, very clean defense from Aaron there. Just showing you guys exactly how to take care of any kind of push that a Giant Graveyard player may launch towards you. So now Aaron goes in, cycles some archers in the back. I notice he's actually not afraid to cycle archers, especially against a Graveyard matchup, which I'm a little bit surprised about. But then he goes in with a knight followed up by a mortar on offense. Let's see here, maybe Pekka there. He's gonna have to go in with a giant there. And then now you can see Aaron's just cycling. He gets back to his second set of archers. Does he play them down? No, he goes ahead and cycles them in the back because he doesn't want to give the opponent that the arrow's value. And again, NATO down is going to clear out the bats. Unfortunately, a snowball is going to do a good job of clearing everything off. But the mortar actually still manages to sneak a hit onto the tower. I don't even know how. But either way, Aaron gets another mortar down immediately on offense here, keeping up the pressure so that the opponent just simply cannot launch their offensive push. And you can see again here, the opponent does get an offensive graveyard down, but there's no support for it. There's a giant to tank, but it gets NATO'd out of tower range. And now you can see the activated King's Tower is going to just do an amazing job at clearing out the graveyard. But nevertheless, the battle's still not over. Of course, archers come down, snipe down that musketeer there, and then an offensive mortar one more time. The opponent makes a misplay here. The mortar gets a splash shot onto the tower, along with the giant, and then again just some casual cycling to also help us advance. Again, NATO out the bat. That's a play that I actually don't do, and I should probably pay attention to a little bit more, because it's very, very effective at not only pulling the giant away from the mortar, but also just clearing out those bats. Again, another mortar comes down. You can see here Aaron is just straight up in the driver's seat of this match. There's nothing the opponent can do. They cannot build up the big push that they want. And now you can see as soon as this giant comes down, the mortar is pretty much just going to get a lock onto the tower. Unfortunately, arrow does take down the archers, but the mortar takes down the musketeer. Half health mortar just straight up locked onto the tower with absolutely nothing to counter. And yeah, again, you can see here mortar takes the tower down to 1293. That is 2 rockets, but again, Aaron just goes in with another mortar immediately. NATO's the giant away, out of range of the tower. as well as that mortar. Mortar, once again, just locks onto the tower. The opponent simply has no push coming in, and then the rocket just finishes off the tower. Look at that. What a clean textbook match against Giant Graveyard. Alrighty, so this third match here is going to be against Starry from Divine Saga, and this guy is using a very difficult matchup. Golem beatdown with the Electro Dragon and the Cannon Cart. I mean, just imagine a more difficult matchup. And the strategy with this matchup here is you're going to really want to apply some good pressure during single elixir time to get, you know, a damage advantage. And then in double elixir time, you're really just focusing on defending absolutely perfectly and then just winning in the tiebreaker victory. So starting off here, as you can see, Aaron gets some good chip damage onto the tower, which is exactly what he wants. And again, just some passive cycling in the back of the arena here. The opponent goes in with a baby dragon there. He doesn't want to go in with a golem yet because in single elixir time, it's actually not too difficult to just straight up defend a golem push with just a simple rocket. So you can see Aaron cycles a knight here. Again, just very casual cycling. The opponent does get a little bit aggressive here, I think, after the knight goes down. He goes in with the cannon cart, but some, you know, quick cycling here not only gets some chip damage onto the tower, but also just gets him a little counter push as well. You can see here after the cannon cart goes down, Aaron will have a surviving knight and archer. That will obviously require a response, which Starry goes in with a lumberjack to deal with. So anyways here, again, halfway through the match, Aaron's taken his tower down slowly but surely, chipping it down to below 3,000 HP, now below 2,900 HP. And again, as we head towards double elixir time, this is when the matchup begins to get a little bit interesting because, yeah, I mean, golem beatdown pushes are going to be very difficult to defend with the classic mortar cycle composition. So both players just sitting at 10 elixir. Aaron does not want his archers or his mortar to be out of cycle. Actually, he does cycle his archers, never mind. And the Star just goes in with a mega minion in the back. Now Aaron does go in with a mortar here, and of course cannon cart comes down. He did play that pretty well because he played the mortar at the same moment that the opponent plays the baby dragon, so the opponent actually didn't have elixir for a golem. Either way though, golem comes down now, and as you can see, there's a golem down and Aaron still had to focus on defending the push. So again, not a great situation for Aaron here going into this defense. Nevertheless, archers come down first, cycles an ice spirit, gets down that mortar in the optimal placement there. And let's just go ahead and take a look at how he defends this. So Barbaro comes down, log cycle, gets back to a second set of archers. And yeah, as you can see, archers come down to the side here, and wow, just look at that. Knight comes down once again to tank, and then he even goes in on offense with a mortar here, which requires a cannon cart to react to. The cannon cart will obviously die, which means that there's not going to be a cannon cart that Aaron's going to have to worry about. And there is a golem, but I mean, I think the cannon cart's the really difficult troop to deal with here. Rocket comes down onto the E-Dragon. Mortar, I believe, gets a shot onto the tower. And as you can see, Knight comes down, followed by a log. Very simple defense right here, just completely shutting down the opponent's pushes. Just some skeletons and an Ice Spirit is going to take down the rest of this stuff. And again, just clean damage. And you can see here, Aaron just got one mortar lock onto the tower. The rest of the damage on the tower is just straight up from cycling logs and cycling ice spirits onto the tower. So that's just absolutely insane. And now the opponent just, you know, he has no other choice. He has to just keep building pushes and just hope that the push eventually is able to break through the opponent's defense. So Aaron, again, he's just going to rinse and repeat. The opponent does not have a big spell, which is the one Achilles heel of this deck. Aaron again cycles his archers in the back here. And again, he waits until more units builds up, and then he's just going to, I believe, actually he's not even going to rocket here. He's going to NATO the golem to the King's Tower, and wow, look at that. Wonderful defense. I would have personally just rocketed that straight up, but I guess getting the King Tower activation is definitely a lot more useful. Defensive mortar goes down once again, and again, just look at this defense. He's going to NATO rocket everything together this time. And yeah, mortar down. Arch, he's back to a second set of archers already. So of course he's gonna log, get a knight down as well to tank for all this stuff. NATO gets absolutely nothing in on the tower. He's gonna take down the cannon cart. King Tower is gonna help take down the golem. And 20 seconds left. the opponent just simply cannot break through, even with these massive beatdown pushes. Just taking a look at Aaron's defense with Mortar Cycle, absolutely unstoppable. And yeah, NATO's back for more chip damage, Cycle's back, 5 more seconds, he sends in another rocket. Very, very comfortable victory right there, taking the Golem player's tower down to under 1200 HP. So as you can see, Golem beatdown is a very, very difficult defense, and you need to pull out some insane positive elixir traits on defense. But as you can see, it's definitely doable. Alrighty, last but not least, we're gonna have a match against Anaban, who's arguably one of the best ladder players in Clash Royale at the current moment. I believe he always just is top ladder. And he really loves playing this Ram Rider deck, to be honest. So starting off here, Aaron actually has a very unorthodox approach to this matchup. I personally would not play the matchup like this, but obviously a lot of players struggle with Mega Knight, especially in mid ladder. So this is going to be a good match just to show you guys exactly what you want to do in this matchup. So starting off here, Anaban obviously knows that Aaron is playing Mortar Cycle. In fact, Anaban actually used to play Mortar Cycle himself. I think he was the one that actually made this deck, if I'm not wrong. But here, anyways, Aaron goes in with a Mortar opposite lane as soon as a Mega Knight comes down. He's gonna rocket out this push here, a Knight to stop the Mega Knight from jumping, and then a nice little rocket there. He's gonna get a lot of value, but unfortunately his log comes down just a bit late. Bandit locks onto the tower here. And as you can see, he's gonna have to go in with some skeletons here. But Anaban, he's aware of Aaron's cycle. He goes in with a push. He knows Aaron's low on elixir, and an extremely deadly just bridge spam push there is going to get so much damage, and he actually takes the lead, taking the tower down to 1345. Nevertheless, Aaron has taken Anaban's right tower down to 1610, so there definitely is some counterplay here. And you can see here, Anaban very, very happy with how that went. He's just going to go in with the exact same push once again. Mega Knight in the back, and Aaron's like, okay, I could have defended that a little bit better, right? And so he's just going to repeat the same thing as well. Mortar comes in on offense here, and it's probably just going to finish the tower if ignored. So let's see what Anaban actually does, and it looks like he's just going to go in with a poison. Okay, so poison there, and then followed up by a Ram Rider, I believe. Okay, he's probably just going to go in with a Mortar. Yeah, Mortar to tank as well. And cycle back to a second set of archers, gets an ice spear down to freeze, and then skeletons as well as probably just a log here is going to do a good job. He's going to take a lot of damage actually. Tower goes down to 314, and it looks like Aaron's left tower is actually going to go down, unfortunately. So 2 tower situations are insanely difficult for Mortar Cycle. Let's just put that out there right now. So Aaron has to get as much value as he can right now that his left tower is still up. So 30 seconds left. He's going to go ahead and just, continue cycling. He's going to NATO everything into the blind range of the Mortar. Mortar, however, doesn't even get a hit onto the tower, so really, really unfortunate there. But a 20 seconds left in normal time, and Aaron does have like a 600 or so, actually a 700 or so damage lead on the opponent's tower. So 10 seconds left here. Again, offensive Mortar here. Unfortunately, it's just going to get completely destroyed. No chance of it even breaking through here. So 1 second left, going into sudden death, and Aaron definitely has his work cut out for him, because Anaban is just going to be building these big beatdown Mega Knight Ram Rider pushes over and over. However, this is probably the most crucial play you can see right here. He goes ahead and just rockets out the Mega Knight. You see that? I'll do this as well against a lot of Mega Knight and P.E.K.K.A matchups. When they play the Mega Knight or the P.E.K.K.A in the back, I'll just go ahead and rocket it out of the way. It takes about a third of the health off of the Mega Knight, so it's actually not the worst thing in the world, especially if you're very, very comfortable with your defensive abilities like Aaron is here. You can see here just so cleanly defending this huge Mega Knight push. And now Aaron just even further ahead on damage. There's really no chance that his Mortar is going to get a lock onto the tower at this point. But Aaron still does go in with Mortar just to apply offensive pressure. And of course, just as I say he's not going to get a Mortar lock, Aaron gets a Mortar lock. But anyways, heading into the last triple elixir minute of this match, of course, I think he's just going to rocket this push out of the way. Yep, there it is. Takes down the Ram Rider as well. Goes in probably with just some skeletons and a Knight. Finish off of that Mega Knight. And now you can see, again, just a very, very healthy damage advantage for Aaron here. And all he needs to do is really just hold on until the tiebreaker victory, and the victory is going to be his. So again, Aaron, even though there's just a very low chance of getting a Mortar lock, he still goes in with the Mortars in the opposite lane. Rocket NATOs out the Mega Knight push on the left. But you can see here, Anaban gets a second Mega Knight in, and now he's got his work cut out from Skeletons to distract, Ice Spear to distract as well. Mortar on offense just to, you know, pull the Ram Rider in a little bit, and then he's just, you know, Aaron just cycling. I don't even know what to say. He's cycling his cards so quickly. But as you can see, as the battlefield clears up, Aaron does come out on top with 10 seconds left. The Anaban's got 2 full health Mega Knights on the field, as well as a Ram Rider, but 5 seconds is all Aaron needs to do to hold on, and as you can see, he just barely manages to win the tiebreaker victory. Absolutely insane defense by Aaron there at the end. Definitely very, very clean. So there we go, guys. As you can see, 4 insanely amazing matches from Aaron that got him to 8,118 trophies in Clash Royale. Absolutely insane number. Huge props to Aaron for breaking that 8,000 trophy mark. But unfortunately, guys, that's all I've got time for in today's episode. Huge thanks to Aaron once again for coming on the channel. I'll leave his social medias down below. Also, huge thanks to all of my channel members. You guys are the absolute G's. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, as well as a subscription to my channel. And as always, this is Legendaray, and I'm signing off. See you guys next time.